Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Abdullah Ahil, your host for the evening. Stay tuned. Minister of Economic Development, Transport and Trade Mohammed Saeed says the proposed Pearl residency visa is expected to strengthen investor confidence and create new opportunities for investment in the Maldives.
The government is currently working to introduce a special residency visa scheme aimed at foreign investors. Henley and Partners has been commissioned to design the Pearl residency program. Speaking at a press conference held at the President's office, Economic Minister Said said progress on the initiative is advancing rapidly, with a dedicated bill already drafted. He added that the legislation will soon be submitted to Parliament for approval. The minister highlighted that tourism remains the strongest sector of the Maldivian economy, noting that the global tourism industry continues to evolve. He said the Maldives must also adapt to these changes through modernization. While acknowledging ongoing efforts by the private sector to transform the industry, he assured that the government will continue to support and facilitate further development. Minister Said noted that the program responds to long-standing interest from both foreign investors and local businesses seeking expanded opportunities in the Maldives. Henley and Partners was awarded the contract to design the Pearl residency program during President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's visit to Singapore last year, where an investor forum was also held. The initiative is intended to attract investment into the Maldives while offering long-term residency options for eligible investors.
The Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development approves more than $64.7 million under the government's Hiyawahi financing scheme.
Applications for housing finance under the Hiyawahi program were opened earlier last year, with loans being disbursed to recipients since December. The Hiyawahi financing scheme is a government initiative aimed at providing financial assistance to individuals seeking housing in both Malé and the atolls. The program is implemented in collaboration with 3 banks in the Maldives, offering loans at an interest rate of 5% with a repayment period of 25 years. State Minister for Construction, Housing and Infrastructure, Ahmad Nazim Mohammed said that loans exceeding $64.7 million have so far been approved for 820 beneficiaries, adding that the figure is expected to increase in the coming period. He noted that concessional loans have been introduced to support individuals in constructing homes on land they already own. The government is also formulating various housing schemes in the Greater Malé area to provide solutions tailored to different needs. In addition to financing support, the government is implementing a number of housing projects across the atolls. The state minister said several projects are scheduled for completion by mid-2028, after which housing units will be handed over to eligible recipients. These include the development of 800 housing units across various islands under Bank of Maldives BML financing. He added that some planned projects in the islands have already commenced. The Hiyawahi program consists of 3 schemes. The first targets island communities and provides up to $64,000 in financing through the Housing Development Finance Corporation with no equity requirement. The second scheme is designed for islands designated as urban centers, offering financial assistance of $194,000. The third scheme focuses on providing loans of up to $388,000. It is intended for individuals who have not yet built homes, those with incomplete structures, as well as for land consolidation in Greater Malé area and urban centers. Financing under the Urban Center and Malé scheme is facilitated through BML and Maldives Islamic Bank MIB. Housing is recognized as a fundamental right under the Constitution of the Maldives, and ensuring access to adequate housing remains a key policy priority of President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's administration.
According to the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, physical restoration of the seawall encircling Malé is scheduled to commence this May, a critical undertaking to fortify the capital against escalating maritime threats.
The initiative addresses the severe degradation of a barrier originally constructed in phases between 1988 and 2002. To rectify the decay, the government formalized a contract in February with Toyo Construction Company Limited, a Japanese firm recognized for its expertise in disaster resilience. Ahmad Ayman Sharif, a project engineer at the ministry, noted that a survey revealed displaced boulders and structural failures caused by relentless wave action. The project, spanning from Rarugand to the North Harbour, Rasvan, and the Tsunami Monument, includes reprofiling the barrier and elevating the section near the King Salman Mosque by 70 centimeters. Repairs will also target the seawall in front of the Bank of Maldives and the Citron restaurant area. Beyond physical reinforcements, the installation of diagnostic equipment will establish a centralized monitoring system for 16 pump stations, an update Sharif said would transform the capital's skyline. Historically, tidal surges during monsoon transitions have jeopardized property and commerce along the eastern coastline. Ministry officials expressed confidence that these interventions will finally mitigate these vulnerabilities, with completion projected by July of next year.
The state records a 15% increase in United States dollar revenue collections, underpinned by a surge in tourism-related receipts.
According to the latest monthly fiscal report from the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, cumulative dollar-denominated receipts reached $512,444,534 by the end of March. This figure marks a significant ascent from the $441,847,516 collected during the corresponding period the previous year. The agency reported the upward trajectory was mirrored in the performance for March alone, which saw receipts of $208 million, a 16% increase over the $178 million recorded in the same month a year earlier. The major share of this growth is attributed by revenue officials to a robust performance across the nation's primary fiscal engines. The tourism goods and services tax remained the most substantial contributor, yielding $269 million, while income tax followed as the second largest source of foreign currency at $56 million. Aviation and environmental levies provided additional stability to the state's balance sheet. The green tax yielded $47 million, complemented by $37 million from the airport development fee and $36 million in departure fees. The report stated land acquisition and conversion fees rounded out the primary revenue streams, bringing in $35 million. The current momentum reflects a broader, accelerating trend in the state's financial expansion. MIRA's records show that total dollar-denominated revenue for the full previous year reached $1.4 billion, a 37% increase when evaluated against the $1 billion collected during 2024.
In a unanimous verdict, the Supreme Court rules that Member of Parliament for Hitadu North, Mohammad Sinan, has lost his seat with immediate effect.
The historic decision delivered today was based on Article 73, subsection C1 of the Constitution, which mandates the disqualification of any parliamentarian found to have a decreed debt and unsettled financial obligation enforced by a court judgment. The case was brought before the court by a petitioner, Ghalib Salim, who contended the parliamentarian Sinan and another individual had failed to repay a loan of $162,127 taken from the Maldives Islamic Bank, MIB. Following the default, a lower court in October 2024 had issued a judgment ordering the repayment of the debt within a 6-month period, an order which remained unfulfilled. Presiding over the bench, Judge Aisha Shujun Muhammad detailed the court's findings. The ruling emphasized that while parliamentarian Sinan argued the lower court's judgment was not final as it was delivered in absentia and that he was unaware of it, documented evidence proved he had been duly notified of the proceedings. Justice Shujun stated that the MP had neither appealed the repayment order nor taken steps to quash it, allowing the decree to stand, disqualifying MP Sinan. Her opinion received full support from the entire bench, which included Justices Ali Rashid Hussain, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim, Hussain Shahid and Muhammad Salim. The court's decision underscores the strict application of constitutional eligibility criteria for public office holders, reinforcing the principle of financial accountability.
The government of the Maldives welcomes the United Kingdom's decision to suspend plans to transfer sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, describing it as an opportunity to reopen discussions on the issue.
The UK government had previously introduced legislation in the House of Lords to hand over the British Indian Ocean Territory to Mauritius. However, debate on the bill was adjourned following opposition from United States President Donald Trump, who publicly criticized the proposal. According to media reports, the legislation is not expected to be included in the next parliamentary session, effectively pausing the process. In a statement, the Maldivian government said the development provides an important opportunity to engage in discussions regarding the sovereignty of the Chagos Islands. It called for equal consideration of its position and emphasized the need to ensure its right while maintaining stability in the Indian Ocean region. The statement further noted that the Maldives maintains a historical claim to the Chagos archipelago, citing long-standing cultural and historical connections. It highlighted evidence such as Divehi-inscribed tombstones found in the islands, which closely resemble those discovered across the Maldives. Authorities also referenced oral histories and historical records, including accounts of Maldivian travelers and fishermen in the island, as well as a 16th century letter from a Maldivian monarch asserting sovereignty over Chagos. In addition, the government pointed to archaeological findings and genetic studies of the displaced Chagosian population, noting links to indigenous and Creole ancestry. The Maldives said it remains committed to pursuing its position through dialogue and international engagement.
The Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development opens applications for the TVET Teacher Training Scholarship.
According to the ministry, the government-funded scheme offers 7 diploma-level programs and 3 bachelor's degree courses. Applicants will be accepted until 26 April at 1:30 p.m. Under the program, students will have the opportunity to pursue studies in 24 countries, including neighboring nations. Applicants are required to meet the minimum entry requirements set out in the Maldives National Qualification Framework as outlined by the Maldives Qualification Authority. Diploma courses are available in manufacturing engineering, civil engineering, mechatronics, graphic design, carpentry technology, information technology, and air conditioning and refrigeration. At degree levels, courses are offered in electric and electronics engineering, marine engineering technology, and automotive engineering. The ministry stated that the scholarship fully covers the cost of study. However, recipients will be required to serve at the Maldives Polytechnic for a specified period depending on the duration of their course. Applicants must secure placement in a full-time program conducted in English and commence their studies within 12 months of being awarded the scholarship. Failure to meet these conditions will result in the scholarship being withdrawn. The ministry also noted that individuals selected under the student loan scheme who have not yet signed their agreements are eligible to apply. However, successful applicants will be required to withdraw from the loan scheme. The ministry added that students who are already beneficiaries of other scholarship programs are not eligible to apply.
The political opposition delivers its rebuttal to the annual presidential address, which was presented by President Mohamed Muiz during the opening session of the legislature earlier this year. Under parliamentary regulations, the duty of responding to the executive's annual address is mandated to be performed by the parliamentary leader of the largest political party not representing the government. With the governing People's National Congress in power, that responsibility currently rests with the Maldivian Democratic Party, or MDP, which commands the largest opposition bloc in the legislature. Ibrahim Nazil, the MDP's parliamentary leader and the minority leader leader representing South Hitadu, delivered the official response. In a scrutinized review of the president's remarks, Nazil asserted that the address failed to achieve its necessary objectives, contending that the administration's roadmap was marked by notable omissions regarding the current state of the nation and the essential measures required to improve it. This exchange is a requirement of Article 84 of the Constitution, which mandates that the president address the legislature at its opening session each year. President Muiz fulfilled this constitutional obligation during a convening of Parliament on the 5th of February. The session marked his third presidential address, a speech in which President Muiz detailed the administration's ongoing initiatives across a broad spectrum of governance, placing emphasis on religious affairs, national identity, and economic development. He further delineated progress regarding national debt repayment, strategic enhancements to state security, and the execution of foreign policy, while highlighting continued advancements in the housing, social, and healthcare sectors. Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, maintains before Parliament that the provision of essential public services and the execution of state infrastructure projects will remain independent of electoral outcomes.
Addressing inquiries regarding the continuity of public works in municipalities where opposition candidates secured victories on the 4th of April, the minister categorically denied that political affiliation would influence state development efforts, asserting that the government does not execute its duty based on the votes it receives. The administration's primary objective remains the uninterrupted delivery of necessary services to the public, irrespective of recent ballot results. Minister Muttalib specifically moved to dispel rumors suggesting that land reclamations in Gadi Fushi in Ta Atoll had been halted following the opposition's acquisition of a majority in the local council election. Characterizing such reports as entirely contrary to the facts, he confirmed that operations are progressing as planned. The execution of state-mandated projects, however, frequently encounters operational challenges depending on the cooperation of local municipal councils. The minister noted the construction of the Male Outer Ring Road and a new local market have both suffered setbacks due to a lack of collaboration and response from the Male City Council. In light of these hurdles, he urged local governing bodies to fulfill their statutory responsibilities and foster an environment that enables the state to execute public works efficiently.
The government restructures its administrative framework, transferring 9 agencies under the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology following changes to its mandate.
The ministry has been renamed the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, with several functions previously handled by the Ministry of Higher Education now brought under its authority. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has appointed Ali Ihusan as the Minister of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology. Under the revised structure, the following agencies have been placed under the ministry: Maldives Immigration, Department of National Registration, National Drug Agency, Department of Juvenile Justice, National Cyber Security Agency, Labor Relations Authority, Communications Authority of Maldives, Maldives Digital Service, and National Career Service. The National Career Service was previously managed by the Ministry of Higher Education, Labor and Skills Development and has now been reassigned as part of the restructuring. The changes are part of broader efforts to streamline government operations and enhance coordination across key sectors.
And that's all the news we have for this week's 168 Hours. We will bring you further updates in the next week.